Cool chicken.
Coach, you had probably the toughest quarterfinal here with an overtime. So now, how's the state of mind of your team and physical condition before Burgos?
Well, let's take it positive way. I think we have the toughest road to end up to the final 8, so we're used to it. Of course, last 24 hours are more tough for the preparation of, recovery and physical way. Not so much about tactical way and, how we get ourselves into the game quickly. That's the key for the game.
What's the most dangerous part of your opponent and what mistakes you need to avoid to beat them?
Well, I think we need to get the game going our way. This is not so much about their basketball. I see it more that, we need to get our game going. And whatever happens in the game, when you don't prepare more than 24 hours, you need to live in the moment. Play the next possession and fix the small things inside the game.
Good luck in the semifinal, Coach.
Thanks
for your time. Coach, welcome to the semifinals. How excited are you before the semifinal against Strasbourg?
Yeah, we are excited, but we are enjoying to be here in another semifinal, and we know we need to play a very good game to win the game against Strasbourg.
If you look at the average statistics of both teams, they're pretty much the same in terms of shooting, rebounding, and scoring percentage. But for today, what could become the key, the most important part of the game to win?
Yeah. Strasbourg, they have 2 amazing scorers, Jefferson and the MVP at the competition, Bonsi Colson. And it's a physical team, physical players. They every time offensive rebound, and for us it's very important to control our defense rebound.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck.
Well, those were the words from the coaches. Welcome to the Basketball Champions League semi-final here in Nizhny Novgorod between Hereda San Pablo Burgos, the defending champions, and SIG Strasbourg. Well, we're just catching our breath. We just watched the first semifinal that was end-to-end excitement, 40 minutes, in fact. But that second half, boy, that is tough to beat. Pinar Karsiaka, in the end, coming out on top, 84-79. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Josh Vett. And Josh, just a wonderful occasion to be here in Nizhny Novgorod, and the games are living up to the hype.
Well, if this game is going to be anything like the game we've just seen, and we're going for a big show tonight. Of course, Hereda San Pablo Burgos, now a team with a chance to become one of the only teams here in the history of the Basketball Champions League to win not only 2 championships, Jeff, but back-to-back championships.
And SIG Strasbourg, of course, hoping to become the first team from France to win this competition. We already know that Pinar Karsiaka have a chance to become the first team from Turkey to win it. Van Dermen made it to the final back in year 1, and of course Monaco made it in year 2 when the game was played, when the Final Four rather was played in Athens. Ike won that one, and Tenerife won it in year 1. But both of these teams showed us a lot in their first game yesterday, in fact, getting their big wins, and they were impressive. Of course, I thought Burgos looked tired in their game, but they had just enough to get it done. When they went up against Holon really had them on the back foot for about the first 17, even 20 minutes, you know, but Burgos came strong at the end, and of course just an overtime classic against Tenerife, the former champions, that was won by SIG Strasbourg. So, you know, both of these teams have so much going for them, Josh. I mean, what are you looking for in this game from SIG Strasbourg?
Well, from SIG Strasbourg, of course, one thing I'm going to be looking about is how well they get out in transition. I mean, they know that a team like Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they're going to try and play at their tempo, their style. When you go up against a champion, you got to try and get them out in the back foot. And what better way if you can play a very much, not so much a run and gun style, but really force them to stretch on defense. Of course, for Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they're going to have to make sure to get players like Vitor Benite into the game from the perimeter. They've really got to try and play their style, which is finesse from downtown.
Well, here's the road to the final, of course. You look down that bottom left quadrant, Tenerife falling to Strasbourg, 88-86 in overtime, and Hereda San Pablo Burgos coming back after trailing to Holon at halftime and winning at 86-77, and they will advance to face Pioneer Karšiaká, who have beaten Era Nymburk, and we just watched them win a real thriller, a real battle against Casa de Mont Zaragoza. So Pioneer Karšiaká are waiting. Are they going to sit here and watch this game? Well, I know the players won't. They're going to go back to the hotel, rest up, get something to eat, maybe switch off a little bit. But you know the coaches will be here, and they'll be examining both of these teams. And of course, the teams that lose the semifinals will also be back on Sunday to play the third place game. So a lot at stake in this competition, and certainly in this semifinal. And these Strasbourg players, they know they've got a huge test going up against the former champions. So Hereda San Pablo Burgos winning the very first Final 8, Josh, and I guess the big difference is that this time, you know, all of the teams have arrived here with a lot of games under the belt. Perhaps last year, after the because of the pandemic, teams showed up at the Final 8. Some teams had not had as many games as the others, but it would be a huge, you know, that is going to be a title that Hereda San Pablo Burgos obviously treasure forever. And don't forget, they also went and won the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. But I think they also perhaps feel like they want to come out and validate that even further by getting a second one. Talk us through this Strasbourg lineup.
Well, one player you're going to have to look for is Ismail Wainwright. I mean, he's very, very physical. One player also you have to watch out, Jeff, you called it very, very well when he hit the game winner, is Bonzi Colson. This guy can definitely spot up and shoot very, very well from the perimeter. I mean, Lassie Tuovi, the head coach, started off as an assistant coach in the Pro A system and has now worked his way right to the top. DeAndre Lounsden, it's going to be a very, very interesting. But one player I'm looking at is Jaromir Bojacek, a very, very strong player. He played for Nymburk, of course, but also was a key member of the Czech Republic national team. We've seen in multiple qualifying windows for the FIBA Eurobasket, as well as the 2019 Basketball World Cup, which we recently saw in China. But I mean, as I said with this team, Strasbourg, they're going to have to play a very high tempo and try to catch Hereda San Pablo Burgos off guard in transition.
Well, Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they have a lot of the players, obviously, that won that title last year. Benite, not surprisingly, came up huge yesterday for his team, not only with his scoring, but obviously a game-changing play late in the second quarter that kind of got some of the momentum back for Burgos. They were in danger of falling behind. Tuovi. And again, started his spell at Strasbourg as an assistant under Henrik Detman, his fellow Finn, and the guy he coaches under Finland's national team. And now, then went on to coach under Collet, so he's been able to learn from two greats. And we've seen how he's been excellent at the job. Peñarol obviously also just doing a great job at the helm of this Burgos team.
Jeff, one thing about SIG Strasbourg last night, their victory against, 2 nights ago against Lenovo Tenerife, was the fact they out-rebounded the former Basketball Champions League champions. They had 44 rebounds to 32, and that's something they'll be keeping an eye on tonight. They could possibly out-rebound San Pablo Burgos. It could be a good night for them.
Well, in fact, it was last night, Josh. You're right. Both of these teams were in action last night. That was the benefit that the teams had in the first semifinal. They had a couple of days rest to be able to come into it, and a Burgos team that was already tired, to me, they have to come right back around and play tonight. So they'll try to summon the energy, but you really do admire the way as well that Strasbourg get after it. They look like a team that understands that they, big moment is there to be had. So we'll look at some of their players as they come out. And Strasbourg, remember, they were in real trouble. It looked like they would not even make it to the Basketball Champions League Final 8 in the playoffs when they lost their first 3 games. But they finished with 3 wins, and they were able to make it. And I know they had a chip on their shoulder coming into that game last night because one of the Basketball Champions League columnists suggested that they might be on the receiving end. They might be blown out by halftime, and that was probably the worst thing that could have happened to Tenerife, because SIG Strasbourg came out breathing fire last night. There's Cavalier. And again, it is a team that, yes, led by Colson, led by Ish Wainwright, but a lot more weapons than perhaps a lot of people realize. This is a deep, talented team and determined team from Strasbourg.
It's a team full of professionals, as you said. Jaromir Boyacek coming out, but again, one thing I like about Ishmael Wainwright is just such a physical player. Yes, we know what he can do offensively, but it's what he does defensively as well, taking pride in shutting players down, which obviously leads to fast break basketball for this Strasbourg team.
At guard wearing 19, Luca Beaufort. Number 23, at gap, Jean-Baptiste Maille.
Here's Jean-Baptiste Maille. Mai, just a tough-nosed player, comes out and really, really does play hard. Ish Wainwright also plays for Uganda's national team. We've seen him in the AfroBasket qualifiers.
Number 25, 6'10", from France, number 25, Yanis.
And Yanis Boran, very impressive last night. In the end, he did foul out, but he, had the responsibility of guarding Shermadini, a member of the star lineup, and plays for Tenerife, and had his hands full there, but didn't back down from that. Cavalier also had to go out and do some duty guarding Shermadini, and there's Tuovi, who again is just been exceptional, really, in his first season as head coach.
Well, he's done very well to rise up the ranks, of course. But now if we look at San Pablo Burgos and the team they've got, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams match up, because I just feel very different style of plays between them.
Can Burgos do it 2 years in a row? Can they come out and get a second Basketball Champions League title on the bounce for Benite? Kravic is a player that also a winner, in fact, with Virtus Bologna. He was in that team that played and won the title in year 3. Salas from Belarus comes out, plays for their national team. And Alejandro Hereda. He came on late yesterday, but Peñarol can certainly call him early. Miguel Salvo as well, one of these unsung heroes for this Burgos team. He can certainly come out and do it. You know, McFadden, I would look for him to come out and be a little bit more active tonight, because we know that he, as you said, he was the MVP of the Final Eight last year. And also Jaciel Rivero, the Cuban international. That is a lot of basketball player right there. He is a big man. And Jordan Sacco as well. He must have been unwell yesterday. Didn't come out and play. And I'd be surprised if we didn't see him. And of course, Omar Cook, one of the great point guards in European basketball the last couple of decades. One of the great assist men. Had that incredible shooting display at the Final Eight last year. Xavi Rabaseda, who again reached the top of the podium with Spain. Horton was a good pickup for this team last summer. Big guy, go down low, but also has a good shot, Josh. Can hit it from outside. From 3-point
100%. Makes it very, very good to play a pick and pop game with him, along with Alex Renfro, because those two complement each other very well in their pick and roll sequences.
Peñarol. He's done it once. The question is, can he do it twice? We're about to find out if he can get back to the final.
Umpire number 1 from Italy, Manuel Mazzoni. Umpire number 2 from Turkey, Yene Yilmaz. And standby referee from Latvia, Martins Kozlovski.
It was a couple of years ago, Jeff. It was, I think it was in 2018, where Vita Benite was playing for Ucan Murcia, leading them to a Final Four in Athens.
Referees tonight: Alexander Glizic in the middle, Manuel Mazzoni on the left, and Yunus Yilmaz from Turkey on the right. So three of the best in the business. Once again, with whistles and it's going to be a challenge, I think, picking the refereeing crew for the final, because they've done a good job, all of these guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 Most Valuable Player.
And the Most Valuable Player award is going to be awarded here to Bonzi Colson.
Bonzi Colson!
You know, Josh, from the very moment that he hit that game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer against VF Riga, it just perhaps foreshadowed what was going to be a great season for him and a great season for SIG Strasbourg. It was an indication that they were not going to ever give up. I mean, they just fought hard, and they just had a terrific season. This is a team that, I mean, you're at the business end of the tournament. You know, you're not going to find any easy opponents, but this is a tough team. They're going to start with Brandon Jefferson, Jaromir Bohacic, Ish Wainwright, Giannis Moran, and Bonzi Colson.
It's an interesting lineup they've got there, of course, because it's not the biggest lineup. Giannis Moran's obviously their biggest player out there, but I wonder how they're going to go up against San Pablo Burgos, who probably will play a little bit bigger, I imagine. There you can see Wainwright, 19 points in the quarterfinal. I mean, this guy is very physical. He can play defense. He can play on offense. He's going to be a handful for San Pablo Burgos this evening.
And what do you think about Brandon Jefferson?
Well, Brandon Jefferson, again, is one of those key players. He's a game changer. He's one of those players, you know, you can put the ball in the hands of. He can create his own shot. But the question will be tonight is how well he matches up defensively. I just think Lassie Tuovi, for me, is an upcoming rising star here in the international basketball game. I think he's done his homework. We will see, because I just think San Pablo Burgos, they're going to put up a big fight, because they're going to want to hold on to what is theirs. And again, their starting lineup. One player for me that comes out is Thaddeus McFadden, of course.
Also Rabaseda, Kravic, Rivero, and Alex Renfro. McFadden again was the MVP last year, and here's Benite.
Well, Benite is just such a clinical three-point shooter, Jeff. I mean, this guy, he might go quiet in the first and second quarter, but you just can't take your eye off him. It could be that third, it could be the fourth quarter, it could be the last few minutes. This guy will keep on shooting the ball, and my word, can he shoot it. As well as Alex Renfro there, you can see with his double-double. Only 5 steals away from a potential triple-double as well.
Yeah, Yeah, they've got good guards. And Peñarroya, a very, very good coach.
Well, Jeff, what I like about him is he's come into the Basketball Champions League. I mean, it's his second season. He's come in very quietly. I remember calling a game against Hapoel Jerusalem last year, which they were on the road, but they just kept pegging back in front of 10,000 Jerusalem fans. Again, you can see just how collective this team is. But right now, their job is to get past SIG Strasbourg. We'll find out very shortly.
We saw that little factoid there. Their 7 overtime games are ranked #1 in terms of number of overtime games that they've played in the Basketball Champions League. And then we've already talked about this one, the first Basketball Champions League reigning champion to get back to the semifinal.
I think it's interesting, Jeff, because you think Ike and Lenovo Tenerife both have had opportunities to win 2 championships. They've lost in both finals in their second attempts. And right now, Hereda San Pablo Burgos, as I mentioned before, not only are they the first team that could potentially win 2 championships, but back-to-back, as it says there, reigning champions now here in the semifinals.
Well, I think one thing that we can expect, it is going to be a physical battle. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Both these teams are going to get after each other tonight. On the boards, defensively, it's going to be fun.
What's interesting as well, Jeff, because I just think that SIG Strasbourg probably have gone with a smaller lineup. Just wonder how Kravitz is going to match up along with Rivero. Do they play big? Do they play small? Yeah, we will find out.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Nizhny Novgorod, the Basketball Champions League Final 8. And we're in the semifinals, the second one between SIG Strasbourg and Hereda San Pablo Burgos. SIG Strasbourg winning the opening tip and not able to get a shot off. Here's Burgos pushing it, and now Strasbourg go right back the other way. Both teams turning it over, and Jefferson on the break for Strasbourg.
Quick run and gun play there. Jefferson just able to spot up. Again, back-to-back turnovers of both teams. They try to isolate Boyacek in the low block. Again, San Pablo Burgos unable to capitalize and transition down the other end.
The pass to Rivero. Rivero misses down low, but the ball goes outside to Renfro. It didn't hit the rim, so the clock hasn't reset. And Renfro has to put one up. And Ish Wainwright not able to control the rebound. And Kravitz with his bounce pass wasn't on the same page with Rivero. It goes out of bounds.
Kravitz has got to take that one to the basket. If he's not going to go for it, make a bit of contact, because again, there's no way to pass that ball to Rivero under the basket in that situation.
Jefferson, so many big moments for SIG Strasbourg. Starts things off with the made three-pointer on the break. We see more of Colson tonight like we saw during the regular season. Here's Ish Wainwright right on line, and it's good. Baseline, Kravitz, shot clock winding down, and they turn it over again. Jefferson, bounce pass, Colson. And he is fouled by Renfro. Good foul by Renfro. Will they give him the free throws?
That was a quick play there. You can see great defense, but as soon as they came up with a loose ball, look how quickly they get the ball out in transition. Again, SIG Strasbourg, as I mentioned, they have to play a high-tempo game if they're going to catch San Pablo Burgos off guard.
Well, Peñarroya was arguing that the foul was before the shot, but there's no way. That was in the shooting motion. Right call by the referees, and Colson extends the lead. Made a play last night, Josh, that was unbelievable, diving out of bounds to save the ball. And it led to an Ish Wainwright three-pointer in crunch time. It was big time. Bonzi Colson. Quick pass, Renfro to McFadden. McFadden pulls up at the elbow. And again, another rebound from Ish Wainwright.
So Strasbourg has to be quick now. Catch him off guard, get into a quick set.
The telegraph pass picked off by Rabaseda, but the swat for Ish Wainwright. Very athletic Strasbourg team, making their presence felt on defense. Renfro from the arc. Rivero rebounds the miss and goes right up against Yanis Moran and scores the first 2 points for Burgos.
Well, Rivero is very much renowned for his mid-range shot when he was playing in Argentina, but right now you can see adapting his game here in the Basketball Champions League, going off those offensive rebounds.
He did hit a three, though, last night, interestingly. I think he had 7 on the season, but you're right. He does most of his work down low. Bohacic from the left corner. Fadden stops and was able to pass it to Rivero. Then Ish Wainwright knocked it out of Rivero's hands. Over to Colson. That's a 2 if it goes. Four turnovers already for Burgos. And Wainwright picks up the foul. He had some foul trouble last night. Was able to play with it. There he is showing
defensive effort to get back.
McFadden left open for 3. Good. Wainwright did, in fact, end up fouling out last night. And here he is coming out in the 3. Boy, he is loving it in Nizhny Novgorod.
That's a defensive mix-up there, of course, for San Pablo Burgos. They can't leave him wide open. Just too much time and space on the ball.
Great job getting it into the hands of Kravic, and this time he does go up and score. Rabaseda called for the foul, and then Jefferson gets up. Jefferson upset with that. Calling for an unsportsmanlike. What do you think? Is this kind of sending the message that we're not going to be intimidated by you, even though you guys come from that tough Spanish Liga Endesa?
Well, no doubt, of course, but I think the officials are going to review this because I did feel that Rabaseda there, although he has deliberately fouled him, his arm does come across him, but at that point, both players just need to step in and separate the players because it's the semifinal.
Thank you, main camera. Okay, other angle, please. Give me this camera here. Give me this camera. Okay. So, he didn't start active shooting for you? Yeah, no. Right? So, who created contact? Number 22. Points of contact. Give me back. Give me back. Give me back. Okay, go. Points of contact. On the hands. He didn't play with the ball. Yeah. So, this is normal basketball play. But also, we need to check for... Okay, okay. So, I stay with a normal personal foul. Let's go. Let's go. You decided? Yep. For me, conclusive, normal call. Sorry.
Well, it's the great ability that we have. We've got them mic'd up down there when they're reviewing the calls. And they can explain why that was not an unsportsmanlike foul. So good job. Thanks for that explanation. Here's Ish Wainwright. So I'm sure Robin Sade is happy. And perhaps Jefferson's not, but that's the way it goes. DeAndre Lansdowne, meanwhile, is checked in. Gets his own rebound off his miss. Jefferson from the baseline. Good!
That's that first step, Jeff. Just so explosive. He made a simple pump fake off the dribble. Look how high he elevates when he takes a jump shot.
McFadden from Flint, Michigan misses now quickly. Again, they get it to Wish Wainwright. Oh boy, he has been an absolute beast in this final 8. A chance for a three-point
Jefferson there for the lob. Smart play.
He saw the mismatch, didn't he? Wainwright is just taken over.
It's a strong move by Wainwright, but again, Jefferson, the vision just to identify that mismatch, as you said there, very, very unselfish play.
Wainwright played for the Baylor Bears, actually born in Kansas City, Missouri, and he makes that one. It's a three-point play and takes it up to a 16-7 lead. And I would be tempted to leave him in for as long as possible when he's rolling like that, but I guess Lassie Tuovi knows his players better than I do. Horton in the game for Rivero, trying to get some good position there to catch it down low. Shielded off DeAndre. Now, Wainwright, look at that number. 9 points. Good basketball. Jordan Sacco is in the game, which is first of all big news because again yesterday that wasn't the case, and he scores early. Does a lot for Burgos. Oh, Colson, excellent job dribbling and keeping it away from the defense. And good sportsmanship there from Sacco to help him up. Josh, I guess if Colson goes to the line 10 to 15 times in the game, he's going to be happy. You know, he just he wants to contribute from the scoring department. I mean, obviously a long way to go in this one. Didn't really explode in the scoring in the quarterfinal. But it seems like it certainly hasn't been on his A game shooting-wise at the final 8.
Well, it's a tough one as well. Man, Jeff, they only played in the quarterfinal last night, so right now it's more mental fatigue than physical, but he's got to try and find a rhythm if he's going to get off to a good night tonight.
Fierce competitor, MVP of the league, richly deserved. Sacco turns and the foul called again on Strasbourg and the rebounding.
Lansdowne was a little too slow there to get to the spot. Of course, when you get beat to that spot, at that point you can't be pushing people in the back. And just a slight bit of contact. It's a good call by the official.
So both Mai and Cavalier check into the game. And this is what I call my get down and dirty team for SIG Strasbourg. These guys do the dirty work. McFadden comes out and misses. Jefferson, great tip. No, a little bit out of control. Thought they'd get a fast break out of it, but it was just ahead of Udino.
Great defense by Strasbourg there, forcing Thaddeus McFadden into a tough shot. But again, you can just see how quickly they want to get out in transition. Unable to come up with that one.
Oh, McFadden with the pass, and Sacco turns it into an alley-oop. Oh, terrific defense. Hustling for the basketball. Rabasea not able to get it. And Cavalier in there battling away. Gets the basketball back. Jefferson to Udino. And looks like Jefferson passed up a shot in the lane that he would ordinarily take. And Mai picks up the foul on Renfro. So Jefferson goes out to get some treatment for something. And pick it up here. So Mai getting impeding the progress and picking up the foul. Oh, beautiful passing by Burgos. Sacco wasn't able to catch it cleanly. Has to pass it back out. Hands it off. Oh, wonderful. The finish wasn't there for Renfro. They're going to keep it at this end, though.
It's 2 times they've executed that play now. They try to get Sacco in the low block, and he's got to finish down there because once you get the ball down low, whether you make the shot or not, you got to draw the contact, get to the free throw line. I mean, you're 1 foul away from getting in the penalty.
Rabaseda. Oh, Mai falls down. He can't stand up or it's a travel. And they blew the whistle. The travel. What have we here? Is that on Jefferson? It must be. He was getting some treatment when he went over there. Good defense. Udino not quite able to get it. And in the end, Sacco turned it in to 2 points. Colson. Good defensive pressure by Burgos. Nevertheless, Strasbourg able to get the ball down low and to get to the free throw line.
It's a poor foul to give away right at the end of the shot clock there. They play great defense, but again, Mai just makes a simple penetration, a dish off. Now results in 2 free throw shots.
Renfro goes out of the game for the first time. And Vitor Benite has checked in.
Hereda San Pablo Burgos. Number 22, replaced by Tyler.
So Jason Chikumbo comes in as well for Strasbourg. Heard somebody from Burgos yelled, "Good foul."
So that was the right decision to foul the right guy.
Look at that scoreline, though. Burgos clawing their way back. Makes the second to take it up to a 5-point lead. They've led by as many as 9 points, Strasbourg. Second night in a row, the Burgos have fallen behind early. Cook, the pass to Horton. This is badly, and it was such a bad shot. It missed the rim and fell right into the hands of Sacco. So now he has a chance to get a couple free throws.
Well, he right now has probably been the best player so far for San Pablo Burgos because they don't really have too many defensive options for Sacco. But again, he's got to step up and hit these free throws now. 1:37 to go in the first quarter.
Sacco misses the first. It's been pretty decent since checking into the game, that's for sure. Got a couple of baskets, but misses both attempts. So the first two attempts are wayward for Burgos from the free throw line. Bohacic got into the lane, was able to get it back. Passes over to Chicombo, he misses, but then flying in there for the rebound was Cavalier, and he's fouled by Cook.
It's another offensive rebound now. San Pablo Burgos has given up, and you know, in a game like this where so much mental and physical fatigue is going on, you just have to box out and take care of the boards.
Cavalier takes his time, makes the first one. Chicombo knows his not going to probably get many minutes. He wants to make the most of them, so he's frustrated that he missed that open shot from the corner. And Cavalier, who usually struggles at the free throw line, makes both free throws. And the turnover, Udino, 3-on-2 break, nope. Jefferson, who's back in. Goes back, we're in the final minute of the first quarter. Over to Mai. Shot clock down to 5. Mai goes in. What a finish from Mai. Mai, oh my.
They switched on the screen. Of course, I thought they were going to throw the ball down low because I think it was Omar Cook that had the mismatch on him defensively, but Mai did a very good job there to make the penetration, just to throw up the teardrop.
And the pass, great hands, Bohacic. Now Mai over to Jefferson. Good! And just like that, SIG Strasbourg have opened up their biggest lead of the game. Boy, 25 points on Hereda San Pablo Burgos in 1 quarter of action. Now to Rivero, that's going to be unsportsmanlike. And don't understand why Jefferson wrapped him up like that. Sometimes you just got to give away the layup.
Well, look at the movement here by Rivero. Rivero sets a screen, but doesn't allow him to dribble off. As soon as he sets it, boom, he goes right to the basket. That's what enables him to draw that foul. And now they're going to get 2 free throws, and they're going to get the ball back.
So this could be a very big sequence for Burgos.
Number 16, Jason Chicombo, replacing Brendan Jefferson.
.3 seconds to get it to Rivero. And traveling. So Rivero doesn't even get the shot off. 0.6 seconds remaining. And the hands up from Benite prevents my guy from attempting that shot. And nervous looks from the Burgos faithful. It's SIG Strasbourg leading it after 1, 25-15.
Jeff, one key stat we're going to have to look at is the turnovers, I think, because for San Pablo Burgos at the moment, it's just... Case in point, of course, so you can see
Yeah, the turnovers. Jefferson's been lively, hasn't he?
Well, again, it's just been how well SIG Strasbourg's, how they've turned into defensive efforts of forcing San Pablo Burgos into those turnovers and how quickly they've been able to get in transition. But again, you can see the fatigue, Jeff, of both these two teams. They're really going to have to dig deep physically and mentally. Right now, SIG Strasbourg, they are controlling both ends of the floor.
Well, definitely, San Pablo Burgos have been punished for those turnovers. In fact, SIG Strasbourg have scored 13 of their 25 points off the San Pablo Burgos turnovers. So, again, that's a point well made, Josh. They're going to have to take care of the ball better.
Even a play like that with Sacco is just going to cause a lot of problems to SIG Strasbourg. And Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they need to keep going to that. We saw it with Rivero as well. They have struggled from the perimeter. Circus shots like that, of course. SIG Strasbourg, they'll live with that.
Well, Dijon came to the Final Eight last year, finished third. JDA Dijon had a great run in Athens, rather. And this time it's SIG Strasbourg that have showed up at the party, and boy, so far so good for them. They lead at 25-15 after one. Cavalier in there battling away, gets another rebound. Bohacik, shot clock winding down, and Benite reaches in and fouls Jaromir Bohacik.
It's the second time now, Jeff, we get to the end of the shot clock and San Pablo Burgos and just commit the unnecessary foul. I mean, they have to be more disciplined, they have to be more principled, they have to force SIG Strasbourg into some turnovers themselves.
Well, Bohacik has been very strong with the basketball. Jefferson, look at Mai battling away, and he's my guy. He is, I mean, he is battling. He and Cavalier are two of the roughest and tumblest guys out there. They do all the dirty work, trust me. I mean, you look at their numbers right now, a couple of assists from Mai. Cavalier has 3 rebounds and a steal. You know, they're lunch pail kind of guys, hard hat and lunch pail. And this time, though, SIG don't get any points. Omar Cook. Boy, terrific diagonal pass. Now, Benite. Jefferson crosses midcourt. Burgos trying to turn it up a notch intensity-wise in that first quarter, and it just did not matter. Udino and Bohacik. Both teams that start the second quarter cold. Benite. Well, he passed up
shot the first one. Yep.
Yeah.
Jeff, that speaks to Benite's identity. I mean, this guy, as I said, he will shoot the ball anywhere on the court. And right now, it just doesn't look like he wants to shoot the ball. Right there, that was a good shot. Or should have been.
You didn't really see the travel, but I don't think he felt like he traveled. Those refs are a lot closer to the action than I am. And meanwhile, you know, you take your most effective player out of the game, Ish Wainwright, and all you do with Cavalier out there is build on your lead. That is impressive stuff for Strasbourg. Bounce pass, Mai bumped, and he's got a chance. Or excuse me, yeah, it is Mai. He's got a chance for a three-point play. Terrific execution.
Nice post entry. Jeff, what I like about that play is they go down low to Moran, but again, your guy, Mai, just makes a simple penetration, cut to the basket. It just comes up with it. I mean, it's just the unselfish play, but more importantly, it's the movement off the ball right now for SIG Strasbourg.
Well, my guy can be your guy as well, Josh, if you want him. Here he is.
He's our guy.
Yes, we'll call him our guy. But we have to have Mai in there. That's his name. Mai misses the free throw, but nevertheless, Strasbourg have opened up their biggest lead of the game. Cook on the break. And look at Mai. Palming has been called on Bohacic. Vladimir Bohacic, it took a long time to get used to seeing him in the Strasbourg jersey, I have to say, having spent so much time with Nymburk.
It's almost one of those players, prodigal son of Nymburk, for all the years we've seen him since 2016, as well as the Czech Republic national team. And when I saw he signed for SIG Strasbourg, even myself, same with you, Jeff, it just took a bit of time to get used to that image.
Burgos searching for offense right now. Nothing seems to be working. Well, they get the backdoor cut. And, well, tough finish. So, again, Salvo. Salvo a little bit under the radar in terms of the popularity stakes, but he is a very good player. Feed it. Okay, so they're going to launch it, and nothing was working. Better defense that time, clogging it up down low. Wainwright has the tough assignment on with Rivero. Now he switches on to Cook. Rivero, he gets Moran off his feet a little bit, and Rivero, terrific finish.
Well, San Pablo Burgos are much better when they go down low. I mean, it's not that they can't shoot the ball, but right now they're struggling. But if they can stay within this game, keep going down low, eventually his perimeter shots will start dropping.
Oh, wow, what an aggressive play by Jefferson. You know, Lassi Tuovi wants him to move the basketball. He wants you either dribbling or passing. He doesn't want to be stagnant. And again, this time Cook sees the opening. Popping out, Colson, it's online, and there's the MVP, folks. His first three of the game. And the dump down low, and the foul puts Horton on the line.
Well, Jeff, going back to that last play with Benzie Colson, again, just how easy was it for him to come off that screen and get that open look? But again, another play there by San Pablo Burgos. Same situation, go down low, find the bigs, get to the free throw line.
That was, in fact, his first three-pointer of the final 8, Bonzi Colson. So that is, who knows, that might lead to an avalanche of three-pointers the way that he plays. Burgos right now just trying to stabilize things. They don't want to fall any further behind. And Horton, excellent shooter, goes to the line and makes the first. Takes advantage of the trip to the line. Both free throws, and it's back to a 9-point deficit. Again, it remains Bohacic on running the point. Wainwright picks up his dribble. Now Colson, same spot, same result. Uh-oh.
Well, that shot's a bit different, of course, because that's just individual play. How well he was able to make a little space for to get the shot off, but not much that San Pablo Burgos could do in that situation.
Well, I think that might have been a 2 and not a 3, but even so, they'll take it. And nice take that time by Jaciel Rivero. El Cubano got a chance for a 3-point play.
Perfectly executed. And again, this is just ways they can stay. Going into the halftime, of course, this is one way they can stay in the game, keep within distance, and hope in the second half that the perimeter shots will start dropping.
Does not make it. But the hustle from Burgos. Again, Cook, who is coming out and doing the dirty work for Burgos. Again, watch this. Oh, nobody just boxed him out. He just hustled in there. Wow. It's a real mistake.
It's a veteran player.
You know, Cook, think about this. He's played 7 minutes, 14 seconds. He's only got 2 points, but you know what? He's got 4 assists, and he's making plays like that. That's why he's in the lineup. Benite, and nobody boxed out Salvo. Even so, Strasbourg escaped. Ball got away from Colson, then he got it back, and a foul was called beforehand on Miguel Salvo, but clearly right now Bonzi Colson has got it. He's seen the ball go through the hoop a couple of times, and he wants it.
Smooth little touch here in the low block. Just a bit of contact, the fadeaway. I mean, the foul was on the ground, but as you said, Jeff, starting to feel the confidence. There's a reason he's the MVP. Could be a problem for San Pablo Burgos.
14 seconds to go, the 24-second shot clock. It's a Strasbourg ball.
Bohacic gets it over to Ish Wainwright. Colson kept it alive, but good job by Kravic to knock it to Benite. Benite zigzagging his way. Now the pass. Rivero does a great job of getting the basketball. Salvo again! Oh, an X factor emerging here for San Pablo Burgos.
Wainwright is trying to front Rivero in the low block, and they're just going to throw that lob pass. And once a double team came, there was the wide open look, and that's what San Pablo Burgos needed, just to stay in the game and hope those shots start dropping.
Bohacic. Boy, they love that spot on the floor. All of them do, don't they?
How wide open does he need to be, Jeff?
Well, Tuovi says if they're going to be swarming and they're going to be double teaming, somebody's got to be open. Go to this spot. And of course, Bohacic has that reputation of being a great shooter. So timeout on the floor. And Burgos trying to come up with another perhaps strategy. Josh, that's just downright exquisite.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but I mean, it's a simple pick and roll play where you can see that McFadden comes over for a double team. They can't leave players wide open because players like Wainwright, Jefferson, any time or space they have. I mean, look, Wainwright does it on the perimeter. He seals off. He can do it low block as well. You can't leave anybody wide open. You have to put a hand up at all times.
Burgos, or rather Strasbourg, 6 of 14 from three-point range, 2 of 11 for Burgos. That dump down low to Kravic. There were 6 Strasbourg bodies around him. Bohacic. Rivero outlets over to Renfro. Now to Benite. Probably the player they need to really get going outside. Give him something different. There he is. He's open and can't get it to drop. Oh boy, dangerous pass underneath their basket, and Benite was there to take advantage. Cardinals in. Not supposed to do that.
Well, it's a lot better from San Pablo Burgos. Their shots, they got good looks there, good penetration, good kick out, but more importantly, going in for those second chances.
Colson was in near his spot that he likes, so he just slides over to the right this time. Doesn't drop. Salvo again. Well, the Burgos are really struggling. They need Benite or they need McFadden to really become that weapon or produce outside. Meanwhile, Jefferson throws it away. 1:43 to go in the first half.
If you're a shooter on the SIG Strasbourg team, your job is very simple. Sit on the perimeter because Jefferson's going to beat every man. Look, he's got 2 players on him, which means someone's going to be wide open. Why would you cut right towards him? Stay in that corner. You're going to be wide open.
Still more to come as well from DeAndre Lansdowne, but Mai comes back into the game for Jefferson. And Bohacic commits the team's 4th foul out on the perimeter. Kravich gets to the baseline, it's sealed. He passes back to Benite, and Benite is fouled while attempting the 3-pointer.
That's a good chance now for Benite to build some confidence. Just go to the free throw line. Have 3 free throws, but again, right at the end of the shot clock, it's a poor foul to give away.
Oh, that foul on Udino. So timeout on the court once again. 37-30. Has anything surprised you in this, Josh?
I don't think anything's really surprised me, of course. I expected SIG Strasbourg to really come out and play much more of an up-tempo game. I think what has surprised me is probably how sort of lackluster San Pablo Burgos has been from the perimeter. But I mean, it's like when they beat Hulon in the last one. You know, they start to catch fire in the 3rd quarter and they simply took over. Maybe that's going to happen tonight, but right now for me, San Pablo Burgos need to go where their bread is their butter, and right now it's down low. Kravitz, of course, along with Rivero.
Back to the game, 1 minute, 18 seconds to play in the 2nd quarter.
1 minute, 18 seconds left. Here in the 2nd quarter, a long way to go. And if it holds true to form like the other games, the 2nd half is going to be even better. But Ish Wainwright, good production from him in that first half, perhaps sitting down for the remainder of it. Rest up for the 2nd. But, you know, an opportunity here for Burgos. You know, they've been, they've trailed by as many as 12 points. And if they can cut this deficit, you know, get even closer, it would be exactly what happened last night. You know, finish strong at the end of the first half, go to the locker rooms, regroup, and then come out strong.
I think the thing for Burgos, Jeff, is the fact that they shoot the ball very well. They get the right shots. I mean, they're taking the right shots and not dropping right now. But as you said, it could be like last night. They could come out in the 2nd half much better. But the good thing for them is they cut the deficit now down to 4 points.
So good work from Benite, good work from Salvo. He comes out of the game. 5 points and a rebound. And I'm not sure what Yilmaz and Glizic are talking about. I think Yilmaz came over and said, "How about a really good restaurant we could go to later tonight?" Glizic's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's talk about it." Nice drive, and they turn it over though. Renfro over to Benite, and online, yes it is. The Benite Show is now starring here in, or now showing rather, in Nizhny Novgorod. Vitor Benite cuts it to a 1-point deficit.
Well, we said third quarter, Jeff, he might come out, but right now he's cut it down to a 1-point ball game. That's a huge 3-pointer now for San Pablo Burgos.
Yeah, Josh, it literally is almost exactly like their game against Cologne. SIG Strasbourg have been strong throughout this first half, but perhaps haven't been quite on top of their game here the last minute and a half or so, and that's all that Burgos have needed to cut that deficit to just 1 point.
Well, you made a key point, Jeff, early in the first quarter. They took Ismail Wainwright out, I think when they went up by double digits, and again, it's almost like in the last game where they took Sek Henry out, where Pinel Kashiaka did the same thing. You got to think, these coaches, yeah, they understand their rotations, but this is the semifinals right now. You need to build the momentum as much as possible. You might have your rotations, but if the fire's there, keep it going. Keep your momentum going forward.
58.9 seconds to go in the second quarter. 36, 37. 1 point.
Yeah, but that said, also, don't forget, he brought in Mai and he brought in Cavalier, and he actually grew the lead. So you can understand how he wants to get everybody involved, but it's easy for us to sit here and second guess things. I'm sure Ish Wainwright's going to have a big part to play the rest of the way. Here's Colson. Passes it back, and Udino drives in and scores. Excellent work by Colson. Good patience and good cut by that man. Oh, they get it down low to Kravic. Tried to dunk it. We'll have to settle for free throws.
That's good for Kravic there to catch the ball in the low block, but again, just too much time and space. Look how he cuts it about way too wide open there.
Three shots awarded to the player number 1, Dejan Kravic.
Cavalier came over to help out. Burgos fans watching, a little bit of frustration. You can see they're like, just can't quite get there yet, but they have cut it to 3 points, and they can get even closer here. They missed one, he made one, and it's a 2-point game, and now SIG Strasbourg trying to hold it for the last shot. You would imagine, well, they put it up pretty early. Bohacic, and he's fouled! Unbelievable, and he makes the shot! Well, I guess that's one advantage to going early. They've left time on the clock for Burgos. And with Benite running right at him, well, Benite was also fouled while he was attempting a three-pointer and made all 3 free throws. But a lot of love for the rim there for Bohacic.
Jeff, I saw him make the same shot in 2018 for Nürnberg against Ike in the second game in which they lost. Hit the rim, bounced up, and went straight in. This guy can make the most impossible shots.
It seemed like Burgos had done some, well, they did do some great work to get it all the way back to 1 point, but here they are now down 5, and it could be a 4-point play. It could be a 6-point deficit here. Look at that. That's when you know the rim loves you.
That's a good internet meme right there.
And the thing is, you know, Benitez doesn't want to give that shot away. He's going to run at him, and then he avoids him. He's arguing. Oh, look at Glizic. Well shot, my son. I'm so proud of you. Look. But Benitez, you know, if he made contact, it was minimal because it didn't look it. But at the end of the day, Bohacic went down, and now he's at the line for a huge free throw in the grand scheme of things. Every opportunity is important in these games.
One thing about Bohacic that's very good is he's got such a quick release. He gets his feet set so well, but also another, he elevates quite high when he shoots, makes him quite hard to guard.
Well, there you go. We had a 4-point play in the first semifinal, Sek Henry, and we got a 4-point play here in the second semifinal by Jaromir Bohacic. So Benitez able to inbound the basketball to Renfro. And his pass over to Horton. Didn't pick it up cleanly. Benitez, did he get it off in time? Doesn't matter. So the defending champions trailing at halftime again here at the Basketball Champions League Final 8. SIG Strasbourg on top, 43-37.
Jeff, a key stat there you can see has been the three-point shooting for SIG Strasbourg, but a lot of that has been down to the ball movement. They've really pushed San Pablo Burgos in transition and really made the move, but interesting to see there. San Pablo Burgos out rebounding SIG Strasbourg 20-13.
Look at the defense, 6 steals for Strasbourg. Those turnovers were a problem for Burgos in the first half, leading to Strasbourg points. Well, here's a look back at some of the highlights of what has turned out to be another intriguing, exciting, thrilling semifinal at the Basketball Champions League Final 8. Plenty of players are having starring roles in this. And certainly if Bonzi Colson wasn't on his A-game shooting last night, he appears to have found his rhythm tonight. But of course, Wainwright came out as well. He was terrific in the quarterfinal, and he's been making plays, scoring, rebounding, blocking shots. But this is Hereda San Pablo Burgos. You better believe it. You got to play hard for 40 minutes against this team to have a chance, because they are relentless. They will stay after it. Look at Sacco turning that potentially bad turnover into 2 points. And Mai again, Moran with a beautiful pass. Mai with the cut, and he ended up having that chance for that 3-point play.
Jefferson's just very tough to guard. You can see he's just a step too fast for everybody on the court. But again, that's where the help side defense needs to come into play for San Pablo Burgos.
Salvo hitting one of the 3-pointers right over the outstretched hands of Bonzi Colson. Again, that was a play that Cavalier did not need to make, as he threw it into the lane there. Thought he could get it to his teammate, but ended up with Benitez, and that's usually what coaches would tell you, don't do that. And I think that was the expression. So for SIG Strasbourg, it's been an all-round effort. A Okay, so I think we're going to see the top scorer. In fact, we can see the top scorer for Hereda San Pablo Burgos. So Rivero has 8 points, and Vitor Benite has 8 points. So we're going to see Rivero, and he was going to work catching this pass from Omar Cook. Cook again has 4 assists.
It's a quick reaction there off the pick and roll there with Rivero. You can see as soon as he sets it, he's got one thing on his mind. It's go straight to the basket. I mean, he stands at about 6'8", 6'9", but a very good finish under the basket.
And the leading scorer, Jefferson, for SIG Strasbourg. So he's got 10 points. He started strong. Has a couple of threes. And he's also showing a little bit of flair with his passing.
Well, it's a good job there. He draws 2 defenders, and that's what leads to a wide open shot at that point. But again, mid-range, very, very lethal there from Jefferson.
And there was Jefferson also being the assist man, getting it down low to Wainwright. So it's 43-37, SIG Strasbourg on top of Hereda San Pablo Burgos at halftime.
Karsiaka not doing anything down low. Oh boy, what a rejection from Raymar Morgan. The team drives in. Oh, that was a tough finish. He's definitely got some hang time. Lucino, pass! Goodness gracious, Wiley! Jefferson looking very presidential. He puts it up. Good! Finally! And it's a one-point game. They've got to believe in themselves. SIG Strasbourg. He had plenty of time to set his feet. And again, he had missed a couple of shots, but you know what? He's a good shooter. The miss from Zimmerman there for the rebound. Passes it outside. And Morgan comes up with the basketball. He's going to go in. He's going to dunk it. And I think they may have called a foul. Yep. They have indeed. They're already up 7. The final seconds ticking off the clock in the first half. And the foul called, it looks like, on Colson. Bullet pass from Omar Cook down low to Benite. Back in and wreaking havoc. Look at this again, whipping it in there. Wow. Pruitt again, rejected. And then Rubon again comes down, makes the play. Look at that. Goodness gracious. So Wainwright has the 4 fouls. He hands it off to DeAndre Lansdowne, who pulls up and gets to the drop. He was being guarded by Sasu Saline, and Saline looked like he kind of slipped as he tried to stop. And time now running out on Nizhny Novgorod. The pass. Oh, throwdown right at the end from Rashid Suleiman. An exclamation mark. Oh, boy. Oh, terrific. Oh, goodness me. Is he okay? Help him up. No. Looks like he's hurt. Is that Tyrus McGee? Wow. Look at that. A little bit delayed. I was shocked.
And now on the big screens, let's watch the best 10 actions of this year's playoffs.
Addiction the finish on Sacco. Sacco looked like he'd run out of space, just took off. Dalton jumper. It's good to go. Hayden Dalton. 1.4 seconds remaining. And that then by attacks. My goodness me! What a play by the superstar French player.
And Savage. Good defensive possession, but great ball movement, kicks it back out. Look at this, Casey Shepherd. Shepherd back in. Oh, what a team play that is! One of the team plays of the week, no doubt.
Great! Up and under and a throwdown by Derek Willis, and he started the game with 5 points, a 2 and a 3.
43-37, SIG Strasbourg on top of Hereda San Pablo Burgos here at halftime of the second semifinal at the Basketball Champions League Final 8. Remember, the winner will advance to face Pinar Karšiaka, who were impressive winners in the first game. Very, very tough game against Casademont Zaragoza. And a long way to go in this one, folks. 20 hard minutes await both of these teams. Remember, Burgos, the defending champions. And how important, Josh, could it be that last sequence for Bahacic, hitting that 4-point play, getting a little bit of the momentum back right before halftime for Strasbourg?
Yeah, it was a big shot. Of course, it's now 1 3-pointer. You know, we expect that from Bahacic, but you know, for me, the key for SIG Strasbourg is going to be Jefferson. I think when we look at these two teams, having played obviously last night, it's going to be very, very key for them to try and stay mentally as well as physically in shape. And I think Jefferson is that one player that's going to be able to go for the next 20 minutes at full pace. You can see a lot of the players just trying to get into the game, take their time. We'll find out, of course.
Well, again, you look back at some of the performances in that first half, and for SIG Strasbourg, Ish Wainwright started very well. Ended up playing just under 10 minutes. In fact, had 9 points, a couple of assists. He was 3 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 4 from deep. Also had a couple of steals and that big block where he chased back on defense on the fast break. And it's been the likes of Mai that have come off the bench to play well.
Great first quarter, but then Burgos nearly came back in the second. What was the main reason?
They're a very good team. We had little problems, not problems, but we protect our players, and Jefferson had a little hit, so we couldn't use him. That's the game of momentums. We need to keep to do the same job, a little bit better with Benite, and it's going to be our game.
Kiitos, Lassi.
Kiitos.
Was that a little bit of a finish there, Josh? His salutation
Jeff,
at the end?
It's usually me with all the languages, but I didn't get that one either.
But in the second quarter, you nearly took over.
Yeah, in the second quarter better, but the better is the result for us. I think our turnovers in the first quarter, unnecessary turnovers a lot of times because it's easy situation to fast break. We need to improve. We need to improve.
What do you need to improve to come back?
Play with a more calm in offense, play with more passes, and we need to improve our percentage in the three-point line.
Gracias por su tiempo. Suerte.
Okay, I got that one. Thanks for your time, Coach Peñarroya. So great yeah, more patience on offense and better shooting. So we shall see. I can't wait, Josh. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I go to bed thinking about these games. I wake up thinking about these games at the Final Eight. It's just been an amazing season in the Basketball Champions League once again, every year. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think this Final Eight, in fact, is confirmation that the Basketball Champions League has continued to get stronger and stronger. And I've been informed that Quitos, I think, let me see, what was that? Quitos means something in Finnish. Where is it? I just had my message and now I don't see it.
Oh, I've got a student from Finland. I think it means thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's what it was.
I think so. I could be wrong on that one, though. But Jeff, going on to what you said about the Basketball Champions League, I mean, you've got to earn the right to be here, and this is why it's one of the best competitions. Year in year, we've seen it improve. And again, these teams, they want to be here. They earn the right through the domestic leagues, and this is why this Final Eight, as you mentioned, it's just getting better and better.
Okay, I found it. It was indeed. Thank you. Thanks in Finnish.
I knew I had that one right.
We can say we've learned something tonight. So Bonzi Colson starts things off with a drive and a basket. So a good start for SIG Strasbourg. Now Burgos look to respond. And a hand up from Moran. Looks like he got a piece of that. Shot clock down to 10. Jefferson. And Bohacek was able to bat it out to Wainwright. Colson goes to work. A little bit of a step back. Horton rebounds the miss. Here comes Burgos. Rivero drives down into the lane. I thought we were going to see the former South American FIBA Americas League version of Rivero there for a while, but he ended up putting it on the deck and going to the basket. Benite, another chance to get closer.
We'll see now San Pablo Burgos just trying to up the tempo in their game, but going back to Rivera, yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought he was going to pull the trigger, but look at this. Makes a bit of contact, doesn't get called for an offensive foul, and just has a little touch just to drop it down.
And the drive, and Rabaseda couldn't get it to go. Rivero there scrapping away for the rebound with Yanis Moran. So they want to check and see if there's anything untoward over there, I guess. Let's listen in.
We are watching anytime. Possible upgrade from personal to unsportsmanlike foul. Main camera, please. Okay.
Grabbing the head.
Okay, so.
Can we have this camera?
Can we have? Yeah.
Look now.
Okay. Thank you.
Go.
Okay, go once again. So who created the contact? Number 25.
Look.
Point of contact.
Hello, go to that one.
Once again, just this. Okay. Oh, it was head. Okay. Is it normal basketball play? No. So unsportsmanlike foul number 25, conclusive, 2 shots.
Number 14.
Number 14, let's go.
This is exactly the moment, okay?
So once again, normal speed, please. Correct, yes. So, conclusive, upgrade from personal to unsportsmanlike foul, 2 free throws, number 14. Yeah. Foul? Yes. Unsportsmanlike foul.
Okay, well, no need for us to explain it because Alexander Glizic did. And guess what, Josh? You're going to be pleased with this. Guess who it was that messaged me to tell me what Quitos means? It was Henrik Detman. I was like, who is this? I forgot for some reason. I must have switched phones. I didn't, or something. But anyway, or he switched phones. But he makes the first free throw, Rivero, and the second. And I'm guessing Coach Detman is pulling for Strasbourg and Lassie Tuovi tonight, hoping that they could get the win. He would have been watching his other star, Sasu Salin, yesterday play for Tenerife.
Phenomenal shooter.
So big opportunity here for Burgos. And Benite, bounce pass kicked by Udino, goes out of bounds.
Benite should have loved that one because you can see the movement of Rivero off the ball is very good. As soon as he curls that, Rivero's got one thing on his mind, goes straight to the basket.
I would say this is a big moment in the game for both teams, but I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of big moments here. Benite, boy, 4-point trip down the floor for Burgos, and they have closed the gap to just 2 points.
Talked about being clinical, and again, he might be Mr. Third Quarter because he seems to light it up at this quarter.
Number 14. Play first, team first.
The ball goes out of bounds. And Burgos now with their chance. Momentum swinging their way. Three puts him in front. Rivero gets it back to Benite. And spurned opportunity goes out of bounds, so back to Strasbourg.
That offense was just too static there. You can see all the San Pablo Burgos players. Anytime someone had the ball in his hand, the other 4 players just standing around waiting for something to happen. There have to be a little bit more movement in that situation.
Jefferson pulls up and hits a big 2. Well, that's in a way a 4-point swing, really. Burgos with that momentum. Now they get it back to Rivero. And, boy, he just went right at Ish Wainwright, didn't he?
Again, you got to love Rivero. Again, what does he do under the basket? He seals them off. Not just the physicality, but it's the finesse as well and the know-how.
And the fearless Jefferson gets it to Colson. And Colson misses with his little runner. Another foul. There's a player that we haven't said too much about tonight, DeAndre Lansdowne. Third team foul in Strasbourg, 3.5 minutes, and just feel this is a very difficult moment of the game for Strasbourg. Benite especially getting hot, and he hits the 3, and he puts Burgos back on front, or back in front. In fact, I think is that their first lead of the game. Yes, it is their first lead.
Yep.
Oh, good 1, 2, and Udino flushes it. Boy, excellent work by Strasbourg on that one. And the trip. Oh, it's A lot of stopping and starting in this third quarter, and Lansdowne, it just hasn't been his game, has it? He's going to go out, trips up. Zuthano taking advantage at the other end, but Lansdowne, for whatever reason, is going to have to sit down. I mean, he truly is a microwave and a great competitor, and the last place he wants to be right now is where he is. He wants to be out on the court. Renfro pulls up from behind the arc. Rivero kept it alive. Benite. And rebounding. Becoming a problem here. Benite goes off 1 foot, and look at that, another offensive board, and then the ball goes out of bounds off Renfro. San Pablo Burgos playing with a sense of desperation right now, Josh.
Well, San Pablo Burgos got very unlucky there in the last offense, because I think they came up with, I think it was 2 offensive rebounds. And again, what I like with Alex Renfro is every time he's coming off that pick and roll, he's drawing 2 defenders with him. In the last play, 2 good looks there, just weren't able to knock him down.
So we got some full court pressure here, and Mai's going to try to inbound the basketball. He does. Dangerous pass. Horton was there. Now they're going to fall back. And Mai's going to bring it up the court. Oh, Mai double dribble. Just kind of lost it. Lost control of the basketball. Good play working there.
They were looking for the ball reverse in that situation, and Mai, who's generally a very, very good penetrator on the ball, just probably took 1 too many dribbles in that situation.
Good recovery defensively, knocks it out of bounds, but Burgos are bringing it right now. Good aggressive play, handing it off to Rivero, and Colson was able to get a hand on it and knock it out of bounds. Renfro inbounds it to a good shooter, Horton, but Ish Wainwright got out on him quickly. Here's Benite. He's been the problem in this third quarter. Gets a little bit of space and off the front of the rim, and that's been the other problem, is the offensive rebounding. Now Horton from behind the arc. And Strasbourg might have gotten away with a push there.
Well, again, same thing, of course. San Pablo Burgos just fighting a bit more here in the second half. Going after those offensive rebounds. Still struggling from the perimeter, though, but that could change as this game goes on a little bit further.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for from three-point range. Just 4 of 18 for this team. And Horton, like I said, he can shoot it. Great hustle from Rabaseda. Like he might have hurt his hand when he put it on that barrier, but he's not going to. Well, he's come out of the game, in fact. Now Benite somehow gets his way in, and he's got a chance for a three-point play. With a quality
that is just a smooth move. Just a smooth move by Vita Benite, because it started with Wainwright. Wainwright put him under a lot of pressure, dissects the defense, and just Mamba-like around and goes in for a finger roll.
Well, he made the difference last night for Burgos, and he is making the difference tonight as well. Vitor Benite now up to 15 points, now 16, and just keeps getting better and better. And now another turnover on Strasbourg.
That was a quick decision there by San Pablo Burgos.
with a chance of Burgos in this Nizhny Novgorod arena. Some of the fans have been able to come. McFadden from the right corner. Boy, that basket's got a lid on it for those three-point shooters tonight, except Benite. And now the foul by Burgos in transition. Wainwright saying he was in the shooting motion, has a little laugh about it. And Benite is 2 for 5. And McFadden is 1 of 5 from deep. And Miguel Salvo is 1 of 2. So now Benite takes a seat. Oh, beautiful bounce pass. Quickly! Wainwright starts to heat up again. 51 apiece. Pass down low, and Kravitz, excellent finish, and he is fouled. You know, the same thing last night. They just really started feeding the ball into the paint, getting the penetration. Burgos, and they're almost relentless with their approach right now. Kravitz does indeed take advantage. He makes the free throw. It's a three-point play.
Well, Jeff, I really like Alex Renfro because every time he comes off the screen, he's got one thing on his mind is, where's the roller? Who am I going to pick and roll with, and how can I get the ball to him?
Well, that was a good bounce pass, but a good hand in the face as well from Omar Cook. Now Cook's pass, though, read by Ish Wainwright, who thought he had the steal, but he was tied up in the end, and the jump ball possession arrow favors Burgos.
Burgos ball, 19 seconds in the shot clock.
And look at it, who it is. It's Renfro. I mean, he is everywhere, isn't he?
Well, he's making things happen tonight, of course, defensively.
He hasn't scored a point. I mean, he's not shot at well. He's 0 for 6, but he's got 7 assists and 5 rebounds and a couple of steals.
And there's that pick and roll sequence. Wow. Renfro with the dime.
And that was not an easy shot either. I mean, he was just inside the free throw line when he released that. And now Burgos have their biggest lead of the game, 5 points. Quick pass. And turnovers. Oh, boy. Looks like they might have gotten a break with that one. The ball goes out of bounds, but they'll keep it at this end. Well, so competitive. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we've learned enough now. The third quarter is usually Burgos' quarter. They have played well. Look at that, outscoring them 19. It looks like they got some good plays they're trying to run at the other end, but they're struggling to hold on to the ball, Strasbourg. So I guess also credit goes to the Burgos defense.
Jeff, 2 things concern me right now about Strasbourg. You mentioned some stats about it's not been a good shoot night for Burgos, but they're still up by 5 points. And the second thing, they've only got 17 rebounds. Remember, they had 44 against Lenovo Tenerife. They're going to have to do a better job of rebounding if they're going to come out with a victory tonight.
Tite's over there fueling up, getting ready to come back into the game for the fourth quarter. Wainwright, very difficult shot. Good defense, hand in the face on him. They get it back though, and tough drive from Jefferson. He earns a trip to the line. Look at that great sportsmanship again from Horton, going over out of his way to pick up Jefferson.
Again, it's that burst of speed right there, that quick step, and that's what they've got to do to try and manipulate that and try and just, I mean, that's the advantage they're going to have over San Pablo Burgos, but just hasn't done enough of that here in the third quarter.
Watch Jefferson, look, Horton rather. See that? So 56-51, goes without saying, very important free throws here for Strasbourg as they try to get back in the flow, so to speak. So Jefferson does what he needs to do. He gets it back to a 3-point deficit, making both free throws, and both teams shooting it pretty well at the line right now. Now Cook, back to Horton. Still can't get the drop, Horton, but again, the offensive rebound. McFadden, good! Well, eventually, second and third bites at the cherry, and you're going to get it to drop. And that has been the case here for Burgos. Wahacek goes strong to the basket. They call goal interference. Must have gotten it off of the backboard before they touched the basketball.
I think he just followed through there, touched the backboard. But again, good penetration by Wahacek there. When the shots aren't dropping, you got to find out other ways to score. And again, with 2 minutes to go, they can't allow the deficit to get any bigger going into the fourth quarter.
I think right now, yeah, Strasbourg just need to weather this storm, and they'll have their chances in that fourth quarter. It's not like they're like caving in or anything, which is good for them. But look at this. Certainly, Burgos have figured something out in terms of passing it into the lane and getting layups. Double team. And watch Mai here. Looked like he fouled Renfro as he was making the pass. But in fact, it's Kravic who is fouled by Bonzi Colson.
Just wonder if it'd be a good defensive choice for Strasbourg. If they know Renfro is going to be on the ball on these pick and rolls, just to sag back a little bit, because every time he comes off a pick and roll, he wants to pass it.
Upgrade from anytime personal to unsportsmanlike foul. Let's see the normal speed camera full, please. Thank you. Okay, so let's pick up another camera here. This one. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay. So this one. Let's see. Who create the contact? Number 50. Point of contact. Point of contact. Go slowly. Slowly. Catch. No. Is this a normal basketball play? No.
So he's trying to play the ball, but he's not.
No.
He's trying to play the ball.
Absolutely no. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
we upgrade the foul. Number 50 through.
Unspot. Number 1. Okay.
And then we go give a warning to the Royal because he's shouting too much.
Excellent. So upgrade from personal to unsportsmanlike foul. Upgrade. Hey, maybe. I need to.
Unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, that is again a big review, and it doesn't go the way of Strasbourg. So I guess Peñarol is wanting to get an explanation about that as well, but I'm not sure. Or maybe he's complaining about something else. Who knows? He's getting certainly getting Mazzoni's attention over there. I'm not sure he agrees with what he heard, but he was polite enough. And so 2 free throws coming now, and then possession, and frustrating sequence here for Colson and Strasbourg. They have just been on the back foot in this third quarter, and they've got to do something to change things around. They dodged the bullet there on the missed free throw.
Well, for them, it's about composure right now. They have to keep their minds very focused for the last 151 because, as you mentioned, Jeff, they have to weather this storm right now. It's a 5-point deficit, but they can't let it get any bigger.
So 151 remaining in the third quarter, and Burgos looking to turn it up a notch. Strasbourg looking to get a big stop and then go down and score. Rivero for three off the back of the iron, and another offensive rebound. And fortunately, Bravaceda for SIG Strasbourg anyway was out of bounds when Rivero threw the ball to him. They are definitely controlling the glass right now, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. It's a lot of players, but it's not just the bigs as well. Renfro, players in the backcourt. We've seen McFadden as well. Everybody's going in for rebounds at this point.
A dangerous pass there with Rabaseda, knowing that it was coming. Shot clock winding down. Colson's going to have to launch it. Steps back. Puts it up just in the nick of time, but it's no good. Cavalier, meanwhile, gets in there, gets it back. Probably the guy that you need in there to really start crashing the boards is Cavalier. Bohacic from behind the arc, but his attempt no good as well. And a foul called on Burgos. Going for the rebound.
I think there was a bit of too much tugging there going on the box out.
Look at Tuovi. What has he spotted? So animated about. An entry pass. Well, it paid dividends because they got a dunk on an inbounds pass from Cavalier. And with that, cut it back to a 3-point deficit. Quick pass to Rivero. Rivero swatted. And now the physicality, the athleticism starts to return for Strasbourg. The rim protection. Over to Cavalier. Cavalier loses the basketball as he drives in. But now McFadden has it. This is his moment. This is what he likes. Three right at the buzzer. Well, right before the end. And with that, the lead goes back to 6 points. And Burgos starting to get the wind in their sails once again.
At that point, you got to make him penetrate because you know he's the one play, he needs one dribble, he's going to elevate very high, and he's just such a clinical three-point shooter.
63-57, Hereda San Pablo Burgos on top of SIG Strasbourg.
The stats are very interesting, Jeff, there, because you can see we talked about it. You mentioned it, you coined it, you've dubbed it. San Pablo Burgos from the perimeter are a third quarter team.
Well, then that stands to reason. If they're a third quarter team, we're going to see more good plays from San Pablo Burgos than Strasbourg, but we did see Ponzi Colson start things off with a layup, but that was about as easy as it would get for them in the third quarter because they were outscored 26-14 in the frame by Jaciel Rivero and his teammates. Great work. Benitez just, you know, the word that comes, you know, sometimes this Burgos team to me is just absolutely relentless. And they were relentless in that third quarter, really. Offensively, especially. You know, they missed a shot. They're going for the rebound, getting another chance. Strasbourg is still in it. Should be a very good final 10 minutes
Fine with Burgos as well. Not a very emotional team, you know, never too excited, never too down. They just find ways to peg back at you. And as you said, very relentless and very clinical.
You know, Josh, wasn't that long ago that Burgos were in the 2nd division in Spain. And they even had to go through the qualifying round just to make it to the regular season of the Basketball Champions League last year. Then, of course, they went on to win it. So this is
I said at the beginning of this game, Jeff, the game that stood out for me for Burgos in their first year in the Basketball Champions League was against Hapoel Jerusalem. I mean, taking that game to overtime, and you said being such a strong overtime team, it's just the stepping up and hitting big shots and really pushing Jerusalem right to the very end. I just figured that this was a team that meant business here in the Basketball Champions League.
A little bit of afters here. You can see why Cook was a little bit peeved there. Felt like Jefferson was a little bit theatrical. Jefferson launches. And Udino flies in for the rebound. So they called the foul on Kravic. Kravic was the one that went down. Well, the pass batted away, intended for Colson. The quick hands of Burgos and the defense right now. And the relentless approach on offense. McFadden again! That's 2 in a row for McFadden. Udino takes it into the paint. Oh, wonderful footwork. And Kravic was able to reach up there and knock the ball off the rim. It might have fallen in had he not. Biggest lead of the game now, 9 points for Burgos. Strasbourg do not, oh boy, I was about to say they do not need a foul with 3 seconds on the shot clock. In the end, it was good, solid defense and forcing the travel. Cavalier goes out. You know, it's that spate of turnovers, Josh, really, that they had 2 or 3 times right in a row down the court in that second quarter, and they just were out of sync, Strasbourg, and they just have not gotten it back. Not gotten that feel back yet.
Oh, I think it's been very tough for them, of course. I mean, they haven't really got it going from the perimeter here, but I just feel that one player that can make a difference for them in the backcourt right now is Jefferson. I think he really just needs to use that burst of speed to really play a step quicker than everybody.
Well, fortunately, they make a nice pass down low to Colson. And McFadden starting to take over. Good block, but there for the follow was Kravic.
Well, that's something they've done a lot better here in the second half, Jeff. Just follow in. I mean, even Kravic, simple play. Just run after the rebound, and maybe he'll fall into you.
Ish Wainwright. Oh, and Udino missed the dunk. Boy, that was going to be one of the plays of the game if he made it. And that's a 4-point swing right there. What
that's a beautiful
sequence that was. Udino is going to be frustrated with himself. It was there on a platter for him. Somehow he missed it. Watch. Well, I'm not sure we're going to see that when we see that play. Great pass by Udino. Then he got a bounce pass on their next possession. Right here, look at this. And he just didn't get up quite enough. And Burgos go to the other end to score. So instead of being down by 7, they're down by 11. Well, Burgos won it in year 4, and they are looking very, very tough right now in this semifinal as they try to keep that title defense alive, trying to become the first team to win the Basketball Champions League in consecutive seasons. Giannis Moran down low, missing. Horton rebounds and hands it off to Cook. And right now, it's all about Hereda San Pablo Burgos. Oh, what a bounce pass. That time the finish wasn't there for Kravic. Oh, look at him go behind his back. Colson over to the president, but Jefferson not able to sink it. That would have been big. That would have got it down to 8.
That's a tough one. It's a wide open look on the perimeter. And again, if he makes it, it's an 8-point ball game, but now he's missed it. They've got to get another stop on defense.
Look at him pass the basketball and get open looks. It doesn't matter where they are, they're getting open looks. And the true pass masters now, Burgos, continuing to add to their reputation, really is one of the really tough new big teams in Europe.
Strasbourg now loses their composure because right now they're just throwing passes and hoping they end up on the other side, but they have to be more composed. Again, another play that should have been a turnover, but good ball movement here. I mean, watch this pass by Omar Cook. No look. That's one dime.
Colson, the MVP of the season, gets it back. Jefferson on the baseline. Oh, wonderful pass. Oh, and another missed shot. This one from Wainwright. They're getting some shots. You know, they've got the offense. They're getting the looks that they need. They're just not making the shots now.
You got to credit San Pablo Burgos' defense. They know how to rotate. I mean, they are getting after everything. They're putting a hand up. These are good looks, the wide open looks, but maybe it's the pressure, maybe it's the defense, we don't know, but right now, they're down by 13.
McFadden. Nice 1-2 with Rivera. Look, they continue to pass the basketball, and that just grazed the outside of the net. Or grazed the net, rather. And Lansdowne loses control of it. Here comes Rivero. Again, the pass, and there is the dunk. Are they putting on a clinic now or what for Hereda San Pablo Burgos?
Champions are making a statement.
Look at how quickly Rivera goes, but he's not thinking about dunk. He's thinking about pass. So the wind very definitely in the sails right now of Hereda San Pablo Burgos. Looking more and more like they're going to be the team that takes on Pinar Karšiaка for the Basketball Champions League title in 2021. 5:55 remaining. This has been one-way traffic here in the second half. It looks, you know, they're just looking imperious, aren't they, Josh?
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're just looking. I mean, this is championship experience, we got to remember. These players, they know what it takes to get to this level. But, you know, beginning of this game, Jeff, I was watching this game from the beginning and thinking, you know what? SIG Strasbourg, they're going to win this by 20 points. But, again, championship composure, experience, players, they've dug deep. This game's not over. But right now, SIG Strasbourg, they just got to go a little bit further, do something different, come up with more steals. They got to start knocking down some open shots because now, keep saying it, 11-13, now it's a 15-point ball game.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of time, but we're just not seeing too much of an indication from Strasbourg that they're able to stop Burgos when they go to the other end. Well, big shot. And now Tuovi wants his guys to press, to stay up. Clearly that message that didn't get through during the timeout. Rivero. Oh, good defense. Well, they do come up with a stop now. Wainwright hands it off. And that's not going to be a miss from Lansdowne. And suddenly back to an 11-point game.
Again, just coming up with a loose ball. They're getting out in transition. Just sends a little message to themselves that, hey, we're still in this game. Again, a 3-on-1, a little throwdown.
Yeah, they've just given themselves a chance here down. You know, they've been able to change it up a little bit, to tighten up defensively, force a couple of turnovers. And it's back to an 11-point game. And a very wise timeout taken by Peñarollo. It's probably the best sequence of the second half, in fact, for Strasbourg.
Yeah, they've been very quiet, of course. I mean, the shots haven't dropped for them from the perimeter, but again, they've been frustrated very much. A lot of turnovers. Again, this man caused a lot of problems for them in the third quarter. Now you can see, for me, it's been Rivero in the fourth quarter. I mean, he has just been both ends of the court.
Well, that's got to be the drive of the game right there. I mean, that was just majestically good. I mean, he was just terrific, weaving his way in there. And you mentioned, you know, when he played for Murphy, I mean, they were outstanding, and he was so good. He really does just keep getting better and better, Vitor Benite. I don't think he gets nearly enough hype, to be honest.
I think as well, I think he'll make a great coach one day as well.
Ozzy Colson is second. Okay, so 3 fouls on Burgos, first on Strasbourg. And just, again, might get to the point where they start putting them on the line. They've shot about 75% tonight at the line, have Burgos. McFadden launches, he misses. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. They're really struggling to get stops. They've gotten stops the last 3 times. So the window, well, it was a tough shot. I mean, a tough pass, really, to make. Cavalier is not going to take that. Does a good job of drawing the foul and getting a chance to at least get a couple of free throws. He would have liked to have had a chance for a 3-point play. And Josh, really, I mean, the one thing that you can't do, for me, if you're Burgos, you want to run time off the clock. You want to not foul and stop the clock and put them at the line.
Well, the problem now that Burgos have is they're 1 foul away from putting Strasbourg in the penalty. And Strasbourg, with only 1 foul, they're chasing the game. So they can take a few more chances. They can reach in, they can try and get in the passing lanes a lot better, but Burgos cannot get complacent.
Okay, so Horton was not able to rebound it cleanly, and he was tied up.
Number 20,
So the basketball, well, the possession arrow, it favors Burgos. And for a back in, I think that's a good move. And, well, they said Horton was over and back. He called it as he was coming back. Another botch play for Burgos. It's almost as if they're inviting him back in the game. Unbelievable.
Lots of great defensive pressure there. The full court pressure just forcing Horton to come at half court. I mean, they say the best way to break a full court press, get the ball to a ball handler in the middle. They did just that, but gets called for the backcourt violation.
Boy, that was a lazy pass, and it was intercepted, and that was a horrendous turnover by Jefferson. I mean, good anticipation by Horton, but you cannot, as the point guard, make that turnover. And now Lansdowne goes down and turns it over as well, and those are just like daggers to their hopes of pulling off the comeback. Oh, they find Rivero! And all the hard work, Josh, just with a couple of turnovers, just like that, the lead goes back to 14 points.
It's a tough one. SIG Strasbourg look like they're going to make it a game again, but as you said, back-to-back turnovers, daggers, really kills the confidence.
Great play by Horton. Saw the pass coming. Hustled down. And Rabaseda gives it to Rivera, who is just a beast. 16 points now, 5 rebounds for him. Rabaseda just went out hustling. Not really putting up a bunch of stats. Doing a lot of other things to help his team win. Lansdowne, meanwhile, goes to the line and misses the first. So more and more, it looks like the dream for SIG Strasbourg is going to be dashed here in the semifinals. Remember, they trailed by 10 points yesterday at halftime against Tenerife, and they were able to come back and win that one in overtime. Tonight, they led at halftime, but again, Burgos proving their third quarter team and turning the game around completely. And now they're just trying to finish it off. Burgos need to practice their press break. So they called the foul on Bonzi Colson there. Third foul on Strasbourg. Renfro. Rabaseda. Maid can't wait around. Passes it back. And taking it from the corner. Nope. And the dream does look like it's well and truly up here for Strasbourg as Burgos get across midcourt. You know, it's interesting that with Tenerife have beaten Burgos 3 times already this season. There's Benite, and they would have been favorites had they won that game against Strasbourg. But that was the team that Strasbourg were able to beat. They, ultimately they might have done Burgos a favor. You never know. Burgos certainly have been clinical here in this second half, and you can see, over there on that Strasbourg bench, it's almost like there's acknowledgement that the game is up.
It's interesting you make that point, Jeff, because Burgos and Lenovo Tenerife, they see each other quite often in the domestic league and ACB, but again, matchups, it's possible Lenovo Tenerife just can't match up very well with SIG Strasbourg because they don't see them very often. Again, it's the first time they would have played each other this year as well.
So now they do try to take as much time off the clock as possible in every possession. Perhaps too much time. Yep, they don't even get a shot off, but even so, in that situation, well, at least you've used all 24 seconds. With a 14-point lead, you're not going to be crying too much about that.
I think San Pablo Burgos have done their job because, what they've done very well was they had the storm early on in the game. And again, I've said this about them already, is that they're not very emotional. When things aren't going their way, they stay very well composed. When things are going their way, they still stay focused as well. And I think that's a key thing about them.
Good drive. No, got to keep fighting until the end. They're chasing the basketball. Burgos passing it around. Second ball in the game, number 16. And Rabaseda was out of bounds with 2.5 seconds, but again, they've used 21.5 seconds on that possession. And right now, really, the clock is the enemy for Strasbourg. Boy, something bounce pass. Didn't have any other option. lands down from the arc. And McFadden is fouled. Well, you know, it's, you know, there's no such thing as a moral victory or whatever, but again, you go back to where Strasbourg were, first time in the Final 8, you know, and also remember that they were 0-3 in the playoffs. They won their last 3 games to make it, and they were bound and determined to win this title. They came in here firmly believing in themselves, and really they have had a great season, Josh. I mean, it's been a terrific season for Strasbourg.
That's a lot of good players in this team, and they'll want to try and retain a lot of these players. But again, the problem for them was they went up against the champions here in this game. And I personally thought the champions defensively were very good. There you can see Alex Renfro knocking down the three-pointer. But again, a lot to look forward to for the future of SIG Strasbourg basketball.
Well, you know, that third quarter, they tightened up defensively, did Burgos. I mean, really, the intensity went up. But also on offense, I mean, they were getting great shots, making the pass into the lane, you know, pass, getting the open looks. You know, how many open shots? And if they missed shots, they were keeping the ball alive on the offensive glass. They were able to take it to a different level. And, you know, that's ultimately been the difference in this game.
Jeff, I also find as well that this San Pablo Burgos team has a group of stars that really complement each other. Everyone's a specialist, whether you got Vita Benitez, a good shooter. You've got, of course, as we mentioned, Rivera, who's a top post player. But I just feel that everyone plays their role to their best. Renfro is a good facilitator. It just works out very well for them.
Well, there'll still be something to play for, obviously, after the Basketball Champions League Final 8 for both of these teams, but for SIG Strasbourg as well. You know, they will be believing in themselves in their French domestic campaign, looking to go all the way if they can. And I'm guessing they would draw some strength from this whole experience. But look at this, Burgos. You know, who knew about Burgos really around Europe before last season? Now people know Hereda San Pablo Burgos. They won the Basketball Champions League in year 4. Coming, you know, during the pandemic. We still have the pandemic, unfortunately, which is why you don't see you see so many empty seats. But we're coming out of that. But here they are again. In my opinion, what this does is it kind of validates that great season that they had last year. It was no fluke at all. They are headed back to the final for the 2nd year in a row.
Well, it's going to be now Hereda San Pablo Burgos against Pinar Caxiaca. What a final it's going to be on Sunday.
So kind of a tempered finish here. It hasn't ended how SIG Strasbourg wanted, but for Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they ground out a win in the quarterfinals, and now they have come from behind again to win against SIG Strasbourg, 81-70. They advance to the title game and will play on Sunday, Pinar Caxiaca. So the celebration is underway. Of course, SIG Strasbourg will also come back and play on Sunday in the 3rd place game. And so they still have a lot to play for here, in fact, and that'll be against Casa de Mont Zaragoza.
Jeff, a key stat there, of course, in the 3rd quarter. They turned into a poor three-point shooting night. They really turned around in that 3rd quarter. But again, also rebounds, assists. It was a very good night. Jaziel Rivera, along with Benitez, the South American duo, with the top scores, of course, for San Pablo Burgos.
Yeah, they were trailing 45-37. 9:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and they just really turned it around from about the 7-minute, from about 3-minute mark in that 3rd quarter. They just really turned it on, just just overpowered Strasbourg at that stage. So congratulations to them. Is there a key matchup that you're looking forward to when these teams go up against each other, Pinar Karšiaка and Burgos?
I just wanted, going into this game, if you look at how these two teams matched up in the first quarter, it looked like it was a young, fresh, athletic team against a very experienced team. And I'm looking at the same thing going against Pinar Karšiaка, but again, it's very, very tough to call.
Well, I think they've got a bigger rotation, certainly in this team of Hereda San Pablo Burgos. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think it's, you know, it's going to be a lot about tempo of the game. I mean, can you, I'm not sure that you want to run with this Hereda San Pablo Burgos team. You run when you can, but maybe it's better to really slow the game down as much as possible. I mean, they're just going to have the game of their lives really to beat them, in my opinion, Pinar Karšiaка. If Hereda San Pablo Burgos, because let's be honest, I mean, they haven't even been at their best at this Basketball Champions League Final 8. In the 2 games, they were trailing. In both games, they're really up against it against Hapoel Unit Credit Holon. They came back to win that one, and tonight they were up against it, against a very good SIG Strasbourg team. You know, they trailed by 12 points at one stage. And but I will say this about Burgos: they looked a little fresher tonight. So I don't want to say they had some jet lag coming to Russia, but they certainly looked more tired yesterday than they did today. Strangely, seem to be getting a little bit of a bounce in their step. So now they got a couple of days to get ready. I'm pretty sure Peñarol is not going to say take tomorrow off, guys, and I'll see you on Sunday. They're going to have some good practice. But they'll want to be there because they know what's at stake, you know, the title. And you must be thinking with Ufuk Sarıca, you know, what must be going through his mind right now? How am I going to not necessarily get in front of this team, but get in front of them and stay in front of them, because they are just relentless for 40 minutes. This is a tough team to put away.
The key thing that you said there, Jeff, is that they haven't really been at their best. But the one thing I find with San Pablo Burgos is, as I mentioned, when they are down, they still find ways to beat you, whether that's from the perimeter, whether that's from the low block. But again, I just say, I think these players, they're specialists. They all complement each other in different ways. Rivero, that's in the low block. Kravitz is playing back up to him. In the backcourt, you got Benite from the perimeter. I mean, there's so many players that just know how to step up at the right time for this team. And again, that's why they're champions and possible two-time champions in a row it could be.
Well, absolutely. Well, again, they got to go through that tough Pinar Karšiaка team before they can celebrate. And you can see they will be playing at 6 o'clock on Sunday. And before that will be the 3 o'clock, talking about Central European time anyway. Zaragoza taking on SIG Strasbourg, that third-place game. So that's the road to the final, folks. One last time, Hereda San Pablo Burgos, they trailed by 12 points, but they have proved to be quite a gritty bunch in their 2 games. They win it 81-70. For Josh Bett, I'm Jeff Taylor. Thanks for watching.